Now let's talk about another waste of billions. A new report has come out. It looks at the European Union and their purchase and waste of Wuhan virus vaccines. Listen carefully to what it says. The EU has destroyed vaccines worth over $4.3 billion. That's a billion with a B. Vaccines worth $4.3 billion. That's almost 215 million doses in the dustbin. And this vaccine waste has been going on for years. It started at the peak of the pandemic when the world really needed vaccines. Rich countries in Europe and elsewhere began hoarding, only to throw them away. What's worse, these figures are an undercount. That's what the report says. Because many EU nations like France, Hungary and Poland have not even released official figures. So this is a conservative estimate. And by a conservative estimate, the EU destroyed vaccines worth some $4.3 billion. It's a stark reminder of inequality in our world, where the rich take more than their fair share of life-saving vaccines, and when they are done, they line their landfills with them. Let's play the devil's advocate for a bit. Say when the pandemic was raging, European countries only wanted to protect their citizens, and perhaps they should be forgiven for their actions. It is brutal, but maybe you could look past that. What's unforgivable is that this has continued. Even up till this year, as recently as this month, December 2023, while the world is putting the Wuhan virus behind it, Europe is still buying and burying excess vaccines. It also makes you wonder, who are the people taking these decisions? What is their strategy? Is there no better way to offload excess vaccines, even in 2023? There has to be some way for Europe to send vaccines to poorer nations. The EU reportedly bought 1.5 billion doses of Wuhan virus vaccine. This is since the pandemic began, 1.5 billion doses. That's more than 3 doses per citizen. But they were not evenly distributed. Some countries took far more than necessary and then ended up discarding millions. Among the worst of the lot is Germany. It has wasted 83 million vaccine doses. That's almost 1 wasted dose per German citizen. But the EU's worst offender would be Estonia. They've discarded about 1.5 million vaccine doses. That's about 1.1 doses destroyed per Estonian citizen. They could have been donated. And apparently they did try, but only the ones that were about to expire. This is what the World Health Organization said in 2021. And it wouldn't have helped the recipient countries because the remaining shelf life of these doses was so short, it wouldn't have reached people in time. So the donations would have been just for show. And then there were legal issues. The EU faced problems while trying to donate vaccines. Apparently, some vaccine manufacturers had inserted a clause. You couldn't donate without the manufacturer's consent, which makes it the unholy alliance of big pharma and rich nations. One looks like a set of greedy monsters looking to profiteer from human suffering, and the other is so entitled it couldn't care less for the rest of the world. This entire episode highlights European hypocrisy. They're happy to lecture and preach to other nations, but during a real humanitarian crisis, they will always put themselves first.